this time, I have no more to say. I'll just say, let us prepare our hearts and minds. If you got pencil and pad, take it out and be prepared to hear what our brother, our Delaware student regional minister, has prepared for us today. I'm sure it's a very timely subject matter, and believe me, it is connected with headquarters. So open up your hearts, open up your minds, and let's receive to this rostrum our Delaware Valley Student Regional Minister, Rodney Muhammad. Salam alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds, we cannot thank Allah enough, the revealer of all truth, the sender of all his truth bearers, his prophets. We make no distinction between them. We thank Allah for all of his prophets, from Abraham to Muhammad, peace be upon them. As students of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's life-giving message, I'm most grateful to Allah for his own intervention in our affairs, in the divine person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever, his wise choice for us, a messenger Messiah to us, and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and to their servant, student, apostle, and warner, the messianic voice today, the preacher of freedom, justice, and equality, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. Salam alaikum. Very happy to be out despite the elements challenging us. But we're soldiers, number one. We are so thankful to Allah for this kind of hour. You'd probably have to be a slave on a plantation, feeling no sense of real hope, and dreaming about a day that your oppressor would be out of business. And to think that that day is here, a day that they hope for. You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan used to teach us so much, he and Brother Jabril, about our slave past. And I remember coming in as a younger FOI, you know, always being encouraged, though I had already had some books, but being encouraged to get a good book on slavery, get a picture, a vivid picture of what our people went through during that period. Because to be careless and to be uncaring in a time like this generally says that you've never been exposed to what your people really suffered. And reaching back into history helps us to get perspective. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, as a boy, said his mother would put before him the Crisis magazine, writings from the NAACP, W.E.B. Du Bois, talking about the disenfranchisement of the so-called Negro and that. But the minister said it played a role in him wanting to go south to see for himself what our people experienced, because he was coming up in some of the better schools in America at that time, Boys Latin, and the other schools that he was able to attend, but he wanted to go south, and so he ended up going to North Carolina to Winston-Salem College. If you don't read anything about what we've been through, it's hard to feel committed to do something about what we're going through. And, you know, we have so many black people that have just checked out on any kind of struggle. And if we approach anything that invites us to struggle, because we're generationally getting weaker and weaker, we're abandoning any road that has the sign struggle on it. But what we learn from the Quran, that, and see, we're looking at our social reality and political reality, but we're not paying any attention to the cosmic reality. And the cosmic reality says that Allah has ordained struggle. So there is no easy road. And we're finding out that the easy roads are making us weaker. Now we have a social structure where weak men spend their time chasing women, and women in their soul are looking for a real man. But the only strong men in any civilization are men who have a mission. A man can't grow watching sports and entertainment all his life. He grows by engaging something that's bigger than himself. And that, you know, becomes a mission. And so when our mission becomes, because something is going to get your attention. And too many of the things that we choose to do it, they don't grow us, they don't cultivate us. We can't build ourselves up as a result of it, and so we get weaker. And strong men build institutions and build a reality that other men grow up in and live the easy life. And so the strong men make for an environment out of their strength that other men grow weaker in, because they don't have the road that the strong men have. The truth is, in Allah's universe, there's always a road to keep building. And so that segues into the talk from last week today, is that we are not here just to duplicate what strong men and women built with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're here to build on what they did and carry this work to its ultimate fruition. So that means that we had cycles we had to go through. And the cycles that we have been through, men and women who were part of organizations, even men and women who were part of the FOI and the MGT, were able to achieve great things despite the odds. But the odds built the strength up in the ranks out of great love for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who represented God to them. Last night, we were on a panel discussion with many of the student ministry throughout the region over in New Jersey. And so I brought a flashlight with me from my toolbox to turn it on to show how the minister showed us that right there where the flashlight was, the light was the strongest. And he told us at the dinner table, this flashlight, this light coming from here, that's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said when he was amongst us, the light was the strongest. And when the light was so strong, the love level in his temples went up. And I start showing them that as my hand moved away from the light and we got further over, the rays of the light weren't as bright as when it was close to the instrument that was producing the light. And the minister said that means that those now trying to live the life that Mr. Muhammad demanded, it's getting more difficult for them to live it. Yeah. A difficulty and a struggle.
Yes, sir. That's right.
But that light is still here.
That's right.
And we need that light.
Yes, sir.
We need that energy,
Yes, sir.
you know, of the God. So last week, we talked about Allah introducing himself to us as the best knower. And that means that of all the things that we know, if this God is not the reference point, then whatever we know, we don't have it weighed against a standard that's absolute. If something is not absolute, that means it still needs development. The minister once told us that the light coming from the presence of Master Fard Muhammad was so great that the scientists could not see beyond it. But he said, because they could not see doesn't mean that he could not see the end of what his wisdom would bring about. Most of us won't be alive to see the end of it. But he saw the end of what his wisdom would bring about. So that's a new human being. And to go back to that, if he's a reference point, things that we take into our life to help us to make decisions ought to be weighed. You know, when you're a part of a company or a part of an organization, many times you can't do things until you go and check out what you want to do with a higher authority. But there's no authority higher than Allah, who is the best knower. That's right. And so the decisions that we make in our life, they could come out better if we could check it against what he's already said. You don't need him to say something new because you don't have a situation, neither do I, that he hasn't already covered.
That's right.
So last week we talked about him being the center. We had the sun out here. I went and got my little science book out because just to check a couple of things here. In the 81st surah of the Holy Quran, it's called the folding up. And look what it says right at the beginning. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. When the sun is folded up and when the stars are dust colored and when the mountains are made to pass away. The sun folding up. The very title of this surah, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the folding up means it's folding up a recorded work. And even though Arabic lexicology and scientists say it could represent the destruction of the present system, meaning the sun and the family of planets in the solar system, but it also means that a whole order is going down and a new order is being established. Now that's why we're here.
Yes, sir.
See, because there is a changing of worlds. There's a changing of everything and the way that we know it. So I brought this out to look at the sun, 853,000 miles in diameter, according to the actual facts.
That's right. That's right.
That the sun is responsible for the energy that supplies the life processes on Earth. Not only on Earth, but all the planets. So the planets have to have what is called a relationship with the sun. Let me see if I got it. The planet, one of the non-luminous bodies of the solar system that revolve around the sun as their center of motion.
Yes, sir.
Everything that has the sun as its center of motion has life on it. And it's the source of light and life for that planet.
Yes, sir.
There were 8 planets in 1929, according to the scientists. And then in 1930, a 9th planet rolled out of the darkness. This planet was given the name of the god over death from the Greek order Pluto. It's the 9th planet, but Pluto turns at the speed of 1,037 1/3 miles per hour. So it's late coming because the other planets have been out there for millions and billions of years. But this planet just came in the lifetime of some of our family members. And even though it comes that late, compared to the other planets, it's up to speed with the other planets. No one knew about this planet until 1930. This goes with the same year that Master Fard Muhammad made himself known to us.
That's right.
Now, Pluto had to be in existence before it rolled out. It didn't roll out and get built up. It got built up in the darkness. But no one knew about this man coming.
Yes, sir.
Least of all us. And he had been around, even in America, for 20 years, but it wasn't until 1930 that he made himself known to us.
Go ahead.
That's interesting now. And then Pluto shows up. So what's his purpose of coming to us? It's an answer to Abraham's prayer.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Oh Allah, make of our offspring a nation. Raise them up a messenger who will recite the message, teach them the book, and also purify them. So someone shows up now as a result of this prayer and a 400-year sojourn in this country that you and I have been under, the oppressors we have been under. So let's look at the sun and then see what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says. These planets use the sun as the center for their motion. It creates, we said last week, an orbit. An orbit is the path in space along which a body moves about its center of attraction. We straight?
Yes, sir.
So the path is produced by the planet making revolutions around the sun. The course, look what an orbit is. It's the course of one's life or the range of one's activities. They used to say, in the civilization we live in, you could look at someone's checkbook. And from the checkbook, throughout a year, you can see what they prioritize in life. But the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan reminded us that when a planet is traveling through space, creating a path, that path is responsible for the life forms on that planet. And from that life form comes a range of actions. So these were all discussed last week, and we're just reviewing, but if you study the range of actions, you can just about tell what kind of path someone is on. And when you can determine what kind of path someone is on, you can tell what's at the center of their life. Pluto didn't have a relationship with the sun while it was in the darkness. But once it came out of the darkness, it started making a path where there was no path. That means a new path had been set. Pluto corresponds with us. Just like Pluto was frozen in the darkness, we were frozen in our development. So much so that we were called morally and spiritually dead. You say, well, we were walking around. You were only alive from the neck down, but from the neck up. Why? Because Mr. Muhammad said, death takes two things with it, sight and hearing. You can't see, neither can you hear from the lower parts of your body. You can only see and hear from the upper part. And as long as you dead from the neck up, you can't see, neither can you hear. That's blind and deaf. Now that's a job description for the Messiah. Right? Because John sent his disciples to Jesus and said, are you the one foretold of, or should we look for another one? He never said, I'm the one. He said, no, you go tell John that the blind see. Go tell John that the deaf hear now, that the lame walk, that the leper is being cleansed, right? That the poor have the gospel preached to them. By these things, John will know that I'm the one. So rather than the man just pushing a title on you, he shows you a work. And the work is a fulfillment of a predicted job description that would precede the man's coming, so that you can, if you don't believe the word, examine the work. And the work itself will be a testimony of the man. So the course of life one lives. Now, I have to use myself as an example. My course of life was revealed through my range of activities before I heard the Honorable Louis Farrakhan and came to him. If you count when you came to the voice of God, because that's who was preaching. God is preaching through him. That's why we were supposed to not just hear him, but listen to him. He said he wanted you to listen to me, not just hear me. Why? He said because there would come a point when God would be feeding my mind. So if you drawing and feeding from my mind and I'm feeding directly from God, then what are you doing? What am I doing? Right? But you don't do that until your orbit changes. So now, what orbit would I be in, and what path would I be traveling if the light-giving sun is at the center of my life? If it becomes the center for the motion in my life, the purpose for my movement, the purpose for my existence, and all of that, well, that path is going to change my life form. And it's going to change the range of my activity. The reefer got to go. Huh? Hanging out all night got to go. Right? Alcohol got to go. Right? Riotous living got to go. Right? Drugs got to go. Right? Everything that was an activity range while you in one orbit, the orbit and path you on now is supposed to be the straight path. So the life form is supposed to change now because the path has changed. And when you start showing, and I start showing a decomposing, it's called spiritual decomposing. It means we're getting off the path. See? And when you're off the path, you can't be on the straight path without that light being at the center of your life. So he starts off by saying, look, I'm the best knower. Me and me alone should you rely. There used to be other things when you were on other paths, when you were in trouble, but now you go to him. That's right. Either he can do it or he can't. That's right. Huh? He said, seek first the kingdom. Pluto comes out of the darkness. Pluto is 67,000 miles in diameter. And the 67th surah, the Holy Quran, is called the kingdom. See, a new world is coming. And a new people have to come out. You're going down a path where there was no path. And the scripture said we would know him because he said he would lead them by a way that they knew not. That's where the complaining and the judging starts, because you ain't never been on this path before. This is where, people get irritated and annoyed because you haven't been on this path before. You don't know how it works. The Karate Kid, he just didn't believe Mr. Miyagi was helping him to win this tournament. But he had to wax on, wax off. He said, I don't see how this is helping me. And he kept complaining to Mr. Miyagi. He had to show him. And when he began, to block this up here and block this with the legs and everything, he could see now that Mr. Miyagi was giving him tasks that seemed unrelated. But he wasn't wise enough to see how they corresponded with the end game of making him a champion. We joined this to be champions. That's right. Real talk. We're not dealing now, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. He said, no planets are attractive enough to force the sun to bow. But she, the sun, is attractive enough to force every planet within her reach to bow. Now the sun, look what he said, is a symbol of the work of God. Right. Allah the Quran teaches us, is the light of the heavens and the earth. Look what this says about the sun. It says, the sun as the giver of life and primary power behind events on earth. The sun is the center of our solar system, our local star. It has no permanent features because it's gaseous, mainly hydrogen. So it is so close, astronomers study the sun in order to understand the nature of the stars in general. But down here, it says that the folding up of the sun, they're talking about the solar eclipse, where the full moon comes in between the sun and the earth, and at that point, there's no light. Yikes. That's the kind of period we've approached, where people are exalting the servants of God and forgetting about the God altogether. The servants of God were reflected in moonlight. Moonlight can only show you a shadow. Moonlight doesn't even show you color. It only shows black and white. Moonlight does not generate its own light. It's only reflecting light from the sun in the absence of the sun. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us Satan mastered the prophets because he came up behind every prophet and brought darkness and deception among the community of believers of those prophets. And what happened now, we just use the names of the prophets and that, but what the prophets were leading us to, all of that now is set up by Satan to be rejected.